Hi there. I'm Leezá Steindorf. I'm a leadership coach, international speaker, and creator of the Core Success Framework. And that helps you build clarity, confidence, and excellence really at any stage of your career. And today we're talking about one of the most uncomfortable experiences any young professional can have. So imagine you're in a meeting or you're in front of colleagues somewhere and suddenly you're being corrected or critiqued, right? Maybe even embarrassed. Public feedback can feel like a punch in the gut, like really it just takes the wind out of you, out of anybody. And if it's your first time, you might feel exposed, vulnerable, confused, even ashamed. But here's something that most people don't realize, and I'd like to offer you, is that that moment, like what happens right then, is not what defines you. It's not a statement about who you are, but how you respond to it. That has a big impact. That tells other people who you are, and it also allows you to groom yourself to be who you want to be. So let's walk through how you can recover your confidence in a moment like that and how you can use the core framework. All right, so maybe you know the feeling, right? You're in a meeting, everybody's watching, and suddenly your boss says something or the team lead says something about your performance, right? Really specific to you. And you freeze, like you want to disappear or maybe crawl under the table, right? Maybe even tear up. It's a horrible sinking feeling, right? Public criticism, especially the first time that you receive it or the first few times. It can really be devastating. You're not alone in that at all. But what people usually think is, I'm not being valued, I've failed, everybody's seen that now, I'm humiliated. It's all understandable. But here's really the truth, right? Every leader, think of a leader that you super admire, that you see standing up and standing out, that you say, wow, they're amazing. They've had a moment just like that. Absolutely. And what has set them apart over time has been to not avoid it, but to learn how to actually own it. And I'd like to show you how, show you what I mean by that. All right. So let's go into the core framework. So when something catches you off guard and really knocks you off balance, or what I say destabilizes you even a little bit, and especially when it happens publicly or in front of other people, your nervous system flares up. Like you go into dysregulation. That's that feeling of, oh my God, I've got to do something, right? You maybe get defensive or you may shut down. Now, here's the thing. It sounds counterintuitive, and if you practice it, you can get good at it. If you can pause, just take a minute, and it takes practice. But if you can pause and breathe, and then anchor yourself into four principles: clarity, ownership, resolution, and excellence. If you can just take that moment, pause, then not only can you recover from that kind of public shaming, if you will, or public critique, but you can rise from it. You can really come back stronger and you can grow, honestly. So let me share with you, I'm going to share with you how you can use CORE, C-O-R-E, when you get into a negative feedback situation, and especially when it's in front of other people. All right, let's start with clarity. So the first thing that you do is you want to separate what was said from how it was said. Yeah. The first thing to do is to mentally take that pause from the swirl, right? Just stop everything from that escalation. So instead of spinning into, why did they say that? Or, oh my gosh, what are people thinking of me now? Just let that go. And you can practice this. And here you can ask, what exactly is the feedback in there? No matter how they delivered it, right? So is it about missing a deadline or maybe a misstep in communication? Maybe you made an error in a delivery or they think you did. Just take a breath and then replay it factually. I'm not saying don't have the emotions, but put those on hold for a minute. Just get clear in separating the message from the delivery. That's the clarity part of this process now. So someone may have delivered it poorly, but there still may be something useful inside, and that's what you can train to listen for. And you deserve to actually see the truth of what's in there, right? Without the shame and the blame, like just to clear the clutter of that off and out of your vision. Okay? All right, so that's clarity, getting clear on what is actually the message inside that delivery, right? What are the facts? Okay, now let's look at ownership. And that is you're going to take the lead in the response that you take, right? So, ownership, we are not talking about blaming yourself. The way that I define ownership is owning your part, 100% of your part, your thoughts, your feelings, your response. So, it means you get to choose how you're going to show up in the very next moment. And taking that pause is going to be really useful that you're going to take and getting clear. So, the next step in ownership, you get to say something like, thanks for the feedback. I'll look into that. Or appreciate the information. I'll make those adjustments. You can say, I'd love to follow up after the meeting and understand more. Or I appreciate knowing how that landed and I will address it. So you can acknowledge the person's sharing without addressing how they shared it and then respond with what you're going to do. I'll address it. I'll get back to you. I'd like to talk with you afterwards. You don't have to defend yourself and you don't have to explain in that moment. That's the knee-jerk reaction, is to defend and explain and oh my gosh. And take your time. You don't have to do that. You don't have to prove your worth. Your worth is not in question here. So with that, you show that you're responsible, you're calm, and you're in control of your response. And that shows maturity. And it also builds trust with everyone watching. Because even though they don't know it, they're going to see your response and think, wow, that's pretty impressive. Okay? All right. Let's move on then to resolution. And when I use the word resolution, often it's known in resolving conflict. The way that I speak about it is how we bring things into alignment if our actions are not aligned with our thoughts or our beliefs, if what we're doing is not aligned with our values, and we're bringing that into alignment. That's the resolution. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is to process your emotions privately and then engage constructively. So after the event, later, when you're in a more private space, let yourself process the emotion. Be frustrated, get angry, do whatever you need to do. Breathe through it, journal, talk to a mentor or a friend. And once you have that processed and you own your experience of it, then you're in a place to ask, so what was the feedback actually valid, right? It may be that they're off base. Maybe they misunderstood. Maybe they're having a bad day, or maybe they're just angry people and blame others. But maybe there's actually something in there for you, right? So when you process that emotion, then you have the space to actually look at what is going on here. So is the feedback valid? If it's not valid, then you can ask, what boundary or clarification do I need? Like maybe you want to approach this person and say, if you have something to say to me next time, please do it in private. Or you made this declaration and actually the facts are this. Okay. If the feedback was valid, same thing goes. What's my next step? How can I improve? How can I change that? Where did it go wrong? And if needed or useful, circle back with the person who gave you the feedback and let them know. Say, hey, I appreciate your input earlier. I'd like to talk more with you about how I can improve that or change that or rectify, right? So that doesn't only resolve the tension, which it goes a long way to do, but it turns a really kind of a painful experience and moment into a moment to grow, right? It can be a catalyst. You can use it that way, use it to your advantage. Absolutely everything that happens to you, you can use to help you grow. It's not easy, but you can. And here's one example of that, if you will. If you remember that one moment where you found your footing again, where you could take ownership of that, not where you lost it, but where you regained it again and you processed it. And then you said, okay, I'm going to move forward. And you talk to that person. That's what you want to anchor. That's how you grow. All right, now we're going to look at excellence, the E in core, right? And we're going to look at how you can rebuild your confidence through integrity and not ego. All right. So the way that I define excellence, and I use it in the core framework, is to know and own the highest and best in yourself and to engage with the highest and best in others. So getting feedback like that can be negative or derogatory or just hard to hear, even if it's on point, especially when it's in public, man, that can shake your confidence. It can shake anybody's confidence. I've been there, trust me, often enough. But real confidence, which is the strength of standing in who you are, right? That's the way I would define confidence. It's not about not being corrected, right? It's not about everything always going well. It's about how can you stay connected to that strength of who you are, to your value, while you're open to growing. And again, this is a practice. It's not about being perfect at all. So, a couple things you can ask yourself. What did I learn? What's in there that would help me? You can ask, how will I use it, what I've learned, to improve? Like, how can I actually put it into action? And the last thing that you can ask yourself is, what does my response, either how you have responded or how you do want to respond, say about the kind of leader I want to be? Like, can you create a response that expresses the person you are and want to continue to be in the world? So excellence is not about being flawless. It's really not about being perfect. It's about seeing what's there, being resilient, and finding that strength and that highest and best in yourself and bringing that to the forefront. And honestly, nothing builds respect in the world like handling criticism with grace and presence and purpose. It's amazing, amazing what you can do with that. All right. So I'd like to give you a practice. If you've ever gotten feedback in public or if it happens to you soon, just remember this, okay? When you go into it, before you respond, take a minute and just repeat, I am not this moment. If this is only one point in time, it is not who I am, it's happening. Yeah, so it's separating yourself out from the events that are taking place. That's my invitation to you. And again, I'm going to say it's not easy, it's a practice. So you take a breath and you respond with clarity and calm, and you follow up with ownership, and then you take action or you move forward with excellence. And that's how you can retain or recover, if you lose it, your confidence, not just in theory, but actually in action. All right. So if this video helped you feel more grounded and how you can handle tough feedback, go ahead and subscribe and leave a comment. Like, share how you've handled criticism at work or how this has helped you or something you've been struggling with. I do go through comments and I try and respond as quickly as possible. And if you want to build deeper confidence and real strong leadership skills using the C.O.R.E. Framework, then check out the resources below. Your leadership level is not about being perfect. Attaining that next place in your growth is not about doing it all right. It's about being willing to grow, especially when all eyes are on you and it's challenging. And you can do it. Have faith in yourself.